So I kind of been struggling with where to put this one in the series. First I thought I was going to lead with it, and I was like, well, maybe I should save it for last. I don't know. But I decided to just make it number 3. So you've heard me talk about how big of an influence Phil Gould and Mark Ruzicki was on my playing. But this guy, Stewart Copeland, is without question the reason I became a drummer in the first place. I've been a Stewart Copeland fan since before I even knew what his name was, to be honest with you. I was still a kid, preteen, you know what I mean? And all of these cool police videos were coming out at the time. Walking on the Moon, which to this day is my favorite song in the world. Roxanne, Message in a Bottle, Don't Stand So Close to Me, like all of the coolest police tunes. All these videos were coming out, and I would just be glued to the TV like a zombie watching these videos. And I was just obsessed with the Police. So, I was a Police fan before anything else. But, the more I started listening to him, that was the music that attracted me to the drums, and specifically what he was doing. Like, even at that age, I knew the stuff that he was doing was just wicked cool. Since I picked up the sticks, when I got my first set of drums when I was 17, I've been wanting to play like Stewart Copeland. The way I play my hi-hats today, I do because of Stewart Copeland. All of those super cool licks that he would do on the hats, and a lot of the fills and stuff, like he's the reason I fell in love with using splashes. Like just a lot of the stuff that he came up with was just genius. Like nobody else was doing it at the time. The thing that I really loved about the Police is that each 3 of those guys had they brought such a unique voice to the band that it wouldn't be the same band at all if any one of them got replaced. But Stewart's drumming on those songs just brought something to it that I don't know, like it just made me want to become a drummer. I'll tell you a quick little cool story, as a matter of fact. This was a couple of years ago, but I did a drum cover. As you guys know, like I don't do a lot of drum covers at all on my channel. I might have 3 or 4 of them, and they're all Police tunes. So I did a cover of Can't Stand Losing You, and I posted it, and I think within 2 hours of posting it, somehow Stewart saw it, and he tweeted this. And I tell you, man, I was sitting on the couch with my wife, and we were watching TV, and I saw that tweet pop up, and I sat there probably for about 3 minutes in dead silence with my mouth open. It's like, my friggin' hero just tweeted me, and that's what he said. And I tell you, man, I almost teared up. I can't lie to you, man. I almost cried right there on the couch. So I didn't necessarily, sit down and study Stewart's playing in that sense. It's just I listened to the Police so much ever since I was a kid that I just remember all the licks. Like I would sit down and sort of air drum to what I was listening to. A few standout songs for me that really sort of helped to shape at least my hi-hat playing, for sure. Shadows in the Rain, for sure, is one of my favorite Police tunes. Anything off of Zenyatta Mondatta, that record I think might be my favorite. But there's so many cool licks on that particular album throughout all of those songs. Don't Stand So Close to Me. When the World is Running Down, that's another tune that stands out for me, because if you're familiar with that song, the coolest thing that I think is about that particular song is that there's no fills. He's not playing any fills in that tune, man. It's just boom, crack, boom, crack, boom, crack, from start to finish. I don't even think he's hitting any crashes in that song, man. So he's just, so ridiculously solid on that tune. So that's another one that stands out for me. And then there's just all of the other innovative stuff that he came with. Bed's Too Big Without You. That's one of my favorite early Police songs. And for the longest time, I couldn't figure out how he was playing that groove. And then I saw a live clip, and I was watching him do it. I was like, wow, how cool is that? So yeah, but I turn into a complete fangirl when I talk about Stewart Copeland, because he's been my biggest influence since years before I even started playing. It actually goes a little bit beyond that too. Like I was always a big fan of him as a musician in general, because he broke off, and started doing these solo projects. When The Rhythmatist came out, he's got a solo album called The Rhythmatist. If you haven't heard that, you should check that out. We used to watch a show, my brother and I used to watch a show called The Equalizer. And one of the things that made that show, as cool as it was the soundtrack. And Stewart did the soundtrack to The Equalizer and countless other movies and TV shows and stuff. But he had a very sort of unique sound. Like you could, as soon as you heard the song, you'd know that Stewart wrote it. He also did this really cool collaboration with a guy named Stan Ridgway from a movie called Rumblefish. And there's a song that they did together called Don't Box Me In. And that was easily one of my favorite videos, when it came out. And if you haven't seen that, I'm pretty sure you can find it on YouTube. Just type it in the search bar after this. But yeah, just check him out on that as well. And then there's this wacky Clark Kent persona thing that he was doing. And yeah, I don't know, man. I've been a Stewart Copeland fan since day one. And like I said, he's the reason that I became a drummer. And a lot of what I do, especially when I'm playing with artists and when I'm in the studio, there hasn't been a single time that I can remember in the 30 years that I've been playing that I haven't ripped them off at least 3 times with whoever I was playing with. So, young drummers out there, like I shouldn't have to tell you this, but you need to listen to the Police. I can't force you to listen to the Police, but, I can just highly recommend that you check them out. Like if you've never been exposed to that music, it'll change your life, man. It'll change your approach to how you play the drums. And you're gonna hear so much cool stuff that you won't hear any other drummers doing. So yeah, man, Mr. Copeland, I don't know if you're ever gonna see this, but if you do, I am eternally grateful. Thank you for starting me out on this instrument. You've been my biggest influence since I was probably 9 years old. So thanks very much, man. You're a genius, as you know. People probably tell you that all the time. And yeah, man, I owe you my career. Thanks for watching this. I'm excited for all you guys that are going to be introduced to the Police pretty soon. There's no shortage of footage here on YouTube. Just type in Stewart Copeland drumming and just sit back, grab a beverage and check out the clips. Back again soon with another episode of Heroes. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share. See you next video.